everybody. This is ECW original referee Jim Molyneux, and you're listening to the Alliance Guys podcast.
Shame on you! Shame on you! My name is Ella Indy, and I'm one half of the NWA Women's World Tag Team Champion. And I'm Kissy Paige, the other half of the NWA World Women's Tag Team Champion. And you better go listen to the Alliance vlog, what is it called? The podcast, period. Or your ugly. You're Empower approved. Alright.
Mi gente, you already know who it is. The radioactive pop and Danny Limelight, United Wrestling Network World Heavyweight Champion. And make sure you tune into the Alliance vlog every week. You heard it here first. Straight from Poppy.
Building an alliance.
Will you join us?
It's showtime.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight's entertainment.
You're not here, you missing out, because this show...
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, listen up.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for.
It's time for the Alliance Guys podcast.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Alliance Guys podcast, a presentation of alliance-wrestling.com. That's your number one source for news and information for the National Wrestling Alliance. My name's J Cal, and I got a posse, and they're all here tonight. First, making his triumphant return to the Alliance Guys podcast from the Fort Worth, Dallas area of Texas, he is DK. Welcome to the show, Mr. Mercer. How are you, sir?
I'd say I'm glad to be back, but I watched this week's Power, so.
And accompany DKM all the way from rustic Gladsboro, New Jersey, the solar-powered love machine, the man that makes you laugh, Jaden.
Yeah, that's apparently the reason I'm here. It's not for anything else. And I'm also Heeb's least favorite Alliance guy.
Well,
I thought I was.
No, you just don't like nobody. You just don't like anybody.
Well, yes, but I've only blocked one person.
You're your own least favorite Alliance guy, and that should say something.
Not my favorite Alliance guy.
And squaring up the circle, the professor of pro wrestling, Mr. Rick Del Santo. Rick, how are you, sir?
What's going on, everybody? Thank you once again. And a pleasure, as always, to be here.
We've made it official. If we hadn't officially said it here on the channel, we've officially said it in the backlogs in the chats. Rick is an Alliance guy. So he is part of this going forward. Now, he might not be here every week.
I'm sorry, Rick.
That seat is available to Rick anytime, any place, whenever he wants to be on the show.
Get him in the intro.
Yeah, well, I gotta do Scoob, get on it. We gotta redo the whole intro. What I would like to do is eventually we're gonna have a profile page on alliance-wrestling.com where it'll have links to everyone's social and a little biography about everybody. But
I don't have socials.
Well, we'll just link it to the dog socials because people just
sure
you and
give them the free publicity. My star power.
You ain't using it, brother. You're like, oh, the government's coming after me. Oh, I don't want to be on the internet.
No, it's just I don't like people.
Oh, well, join the.
I like people less than DK likes people. That should tell you something.
Welcome to the party, pal. It's it makes my heart very happy to see this whole window filled with my friends. Of course, Rick, we go back a long time, but we got to meet last year at the 76th anniversary show. Jaden, I've been friends with Jaden since before my oldest daughter was born, and from the message boards, him and DK about the same time from the old NWA message boards. That's where we met, and I could proudly say that I met both of those guys within the last few years. DK and I met up in Louisiana and then later in Texas for last year's Crockett Cup. And I've gone to 3 wrestling events with Jaden. 2 were NWA and 1 was a dangerous adrenaline wrestling gladiator event. So it makes my heart happy to see good people here. Double D Devin Dowling is also he's an adjacent member of the group. He's welcome back anytime he wants to, but he's also a new dad, so
he's an associate member. We're full on paying members, and we need affiliate members too.
Yeah, well,
that's a deep cut if you understand that one.
Affiliate members, yeah. Okay, so now I would classify Scoob, Tim, and Jeremy as also part of the Alliance guys.
They're the other Alliance guys.
They don't get street cred. They're like the if we're the black and white, we're the red and black, they're the black and white.
Are you saying they're the what was his name? Vincent and Brian Adams and
the fake Sting.
The fake Sting. Yeah, okay. So wait, who's Hall, who's Hogan, who's Nash, and who's X-Pac?
Well,
I am not X-Pac.
You got a lot of heat.
Yes, but mine's better than his.
The B Squad.
You said the B Squad. I like how that comes up in my the AllianceWrestling.com is right there. That works out really nicely.
Yes.
Sorry. I get excited about dumb things.
We've heard.
That's why you're a fan of the NWA right now.
Oh, that's the best.
Hey, it wasn't that bad this week. Personal opinion.
That's
okay,
boy. I think DK already. I think you just made enemies of DK. That's listening to him.
Well, hold on. I didn't get into it yet because I actually spoke briefly. I have my complaints, but I also have some praises as well.
Jay,
yeah,
kick Rick out.
No.
You'll hear what I have to say.
You'll hear what I have to say.
when it's time, you'll hear what I have to say.
I think it's the best episode that I've seen this year.
You haven't seen any though.
I know.
Well, technically, he did see Crockett Cup, so he could. I mean,
yeah, but they haven't happened this year yet.
No, they haven't.
3 more months from now, they'll happen.
That's
3 months. You're being awfully generous.
So, without getting too much into Power, I do want to talk about real quickly. We do know that they have scheduled the next television taping. There will be a taping in between before this year's Crockett Cup. Let me try that again. They have scheduled a TV taping for July, which means that there will be a break between the action from Crockett Cup leading up to the 77th anniversary show. The 77 didn't really leave a lot of open doors where Hard Times, they brought Rhino out to challenge for the 10 pounds of gold. I mean, they didn't even really bring him out to challenge. He just kind of made that acknowledgement on commentary. There didn't seem to be an open door for what happened next with Power. So those TV tapings are going to be very important in order to build up to the 77 because there is a disconnect. It was a feel-good moment to see Natty there. She did not win the title. Kenzie retained. And I just imagine there won't be a whole lot going on. Going on leading up to Crockett Cup. So with that being said, I mean, just thinking out loud, who comes in to challenge Latimer for the 10 pounds of gold? Let's go with you first, Rick. Who do you think?
I have no clue. Do you think they'll bring somebody like a Hammerstone back? Maybe. I don't see anybody other than that's worthy in the company that's currently in the company outside of like Silas Mason, to be honest with you, as a singles competitor. Unless they bring in an outside talent like a Hammerstone or anybody like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't see, there's nobody that I could see that's a currently contracted talent.
Like you said, on the roster, Silas Mason, but there's no,
I don't think that's going to happen either. But
the connection, there's no like connectivity there.
Right.
You know, his last match on that will be from Crockett Cup was taking on Hammerstone, where he needed help with the Southern Six to get that victory.
Right.
So,
but he got the victory.
Yeah. Yes, and that does count for something. He did get the win, but it like Hammerstone is an unranked wrestler for the National Wrestling Alliance. He is almost like an outsider.
Yep.
So bringing him in and having Mason go over, although it's a moral victory and it looks good for Silas Mason in terms of win-losses, it's like, is that more important to challenge for the 10 pounds of gold than maybe winning the national title or the TV title?
They don't put asterisks in the record books. And also, based on NWA history now, Hammerstone's the number one contender because he just lost the match.
That's
it's hard to argue that one.
DK, I know you've taken go ahead, Rick.
No, I just think it's going to be an outside talent unless something happens in Lord knows when, a build-up in the storyline, possibly at the next TV taping that you just mentioned.
Now, I'm going to ask you the same question, DKM. What do you think? I know you've taken a brief hiatus from watching the NWA, so you're kind of out of the loop, but what do you think if you were reading the non-readable tea leaves, who do you think is the next guy to challenge for the 10 pounds of gold?
I don't know. I'm guessing the TV tapings are going to set something up. They have shown that they will set up some stuff at tapings or other shows or whatever. So, although they kind of did a bookend with the Crockett Cup. So my guess is that at the tapings, they'll probably set something up. If they were smart, which they're not, but if they were smart, I would start a Throwbelly build.
All right.
Don't really know or care how, but separate him from the six, do something that would kind of get him on a singles run, push, give a non-title victory over Mims or something. Something in there that would push him as a strong contender. World Class did something like that once. Jimmy Garvin was doing a bum of the week American title defense. And then the bum one week was Chris Adams, who took him to a 15-minute draw, and he barely survived the thing. So he decided he wasn't going to put his title on the line every week again. And so the very next week he faced Iceman King Parsons and lost. And so they brought Harley Race in, who was the world champion at the time. And normally the world champion faced the American heavyweight champion or Von Erich brother. Sometimes both. Von Erich brother, who was the American heavyweight champion. And but they actually let Iceman challenge for the title. So it'd be face versus heel, based on the idea that he had beat the American champion.
Now,
what if he unifies the TV and wins the TV title and wins the national title, and he's a double champion, and they use that to promote him? But he is kind of on a win streak too.
Mason?
Yeah.
I don't
Jimmy Garvin.
I don't see that happening. I wouldn't be against it, but I don't see it.
Why not? NWA loves champs.
They do have a tendency to go belt for belt. Or belt.
I don't know. I tell you what, I'm ready for a new junior heavyweight champion.
That title doesn't seem to be very important to Billy at the moment. Jaden, I know like you probably have the least comprehensive viewing of the NWA matches over the years. I mean, if as a fan, what would you like to see the NWA do for 77 in terms of bringing in or someone challenging for the 10 pounds of gold?
Trying to think if there's any outsider available that would really excite me. Dijak looked really good in the outings I've seen him in, so he'd probably be one I'd like. I have a feeling they'll probably bring in the formerly known as Braun Strowman.
Really?
Yeah, he's friends with EC3, and so if he's able to wrestle, some people say he's not able to wrestle. That's why he was released. He may not be able to wrestle again.
Yeah.
But if he is, there is a door for him to enter the NWA, and there'd be worse choices. I mean, I still don't think Bishop Dyer or whatever his name was that great. Who else is available that would be really interesting right now? Davey Boy Smith Jr. would be great.
Braun Strowman is Camille's ex.
Oh, that could be also used. Yeah, that's true. He was. He was the first. He's the first person I seen Camille with.
That's wild. And then Tom is Charlotte's ex.
Yes.
And now he carries around Charlotte everywhere.
Yes, that's true.
Stop that.
This one's a lot more sweet, apparently.
Did you say stop that, DK?
I said stop that. You know how I feel about
that. As far as Bishop Dyer goes, the chat's kind of disagreeing with you. It seems like he might be the guy that they, Dave Scooby, Rosville both say that they think Bishop Dyer might be the guy. If I'm going to go...
They're on crack.
Yeah.
Nobody liked
Baron Corbin.
Baron Corbin, Happy Corbin, Stupid Corbin, King Corbin. He had X-Pac go away heat in WWE. He was not liked.
Very uninteresting.
And half these people that are talking about him, especially on Discord, don't like anything WWE, WXYE put out. They don't like the stuff. He was considered among the worst crap they were doing. And now all of a sudden he's a free agent and all these people are drooling over him like he's some kind of, messiah. He was bad in WWE. He has limited talent. He has limited skills. He did not look that good in his match with Latimer, unless you were wearing rose-colored glasses. The guy is not that good. Rick, talk some sense into these people.
No. I never saw what they saw in him, and they shoved him down your throat entirely. I'd like to see him outside of. I haven't watched any of his outside WWE stuff, so I don't.
I have. He's not any better.
I would like to see how he connects with people in that way. You know what I'm saying? Like in other companies, if he does. I mean, the guy obviously has technique. He's a judo champion or what have you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe does he work a different style or the same? I don't know. Maybe if
everything I've seen is basically he's not that skilled.
Yeah. So
I mean,
outside of that, I do agree because I was never a fan of his either. I just thought they shoved him down our throats every week, and it was just like the most uninteresting crap that WWE could feed you outside of Braun Strowman. So,
oh my god, I'm laughing because some of the things you guys are saying I don't necessarily disagree with. I too was never a Baron Corbin guy. Well, I do like the idea that people are excited by somebody, because look, let's face it, we are talking about the NWA as it stands today is a niche promotion, and when it has had an opportunity to grow, sometimes it regresses, and we'll talk about that later on the show. They just had a great match with Natty and Kenzie. They kind of soured the main event by putting Colby in that match. Of course, he was there to do the JOB. They used him to do the Sabu spots. So I could theoretically see them running Colby versus Tom, but I hate to think that they would do that at the 77. And I feel like they learned something from the Crockett Cup. By having star power on the show, they will draw a better audience. I don't know where the 77 is going to be at. There has been no rumors yet where the 77 is going to be at. But I feel like, you know, I don't think that there's a bad answer, but I don't think
some
Baron
bad
Corbin,
answers.
well, okay. I don't think Baron Corbin's the right answer. You know, I also don't think that Matt Cardona is the right answer. I'm happy that Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling has just announced that it will be Cardona and Tom Latimer on July 5th. I'm great with that. That's a perfect match for Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. As an NWA fan, I'm kind of over Cardona, and I don't necessarily need to see him, you know, come back and reinvent the wheel. I mean, we got that already.
What if it's Richard Holiday?
Now I think you're talking, right?
All right.
Richard Holiday is a guy who, yes, he's had title matches, EC3, Exodus Pro. That is not the same as being on Power. That's not the same as the main event at the anniversary show.
Nope.
That would be something. I also
Do you
don't
think
feel
he
like
could draw? I'm sorry. Do you think that he could draw in an NWA show? I mean,
it depends on where they decide to go, right? Because I think if it was on the East Coast, I think absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't think Richard Holiday is going to draw if they go to Vegas. I don't think Richard Holiday is going to draw if they go to Texas. But if they stay like in New Jersey or Philly or New York or Massachusetts, I think that could be a draw. Maybe even, you know, on the, you know, southern Atlantic states like, you know, North Carolina or Atlanta, Georgia, excuse me. If they stay, you know, on the East Coast, I think that could be a draw. I just don't see Richard Holiday being a draw everywhere.
Alex Kane's a free agent.
Is he really? I think that would be an interesting matchup. Now you're talking, Jaden. That would be Alex Kane. Sorry, Jay, is a superb athlete, and I had a chance to interview him when he won the open weight belt, and I got to tell you, nicest guy on earth, seriously. And that dude could wrestle. I'm telling you.
There's also Jinder Mahal. Don't hinder the Jinder.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, it might draw based on him being a former WWE superstar. You know what I mean? But
a former world champion, and apparently wrestling is really big in India, based off of YouTube numbers.
Well, I will say this much: I would support the former Jinder Mahal as much as I would support Bishop Dreyer.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
So I think that I might. I don't think it's a terrible idea. Jinder Mahal.
I think if you're asking me, which no one did, I think I would take the artist formerly known as Jinder Mahal over Baron Corbin, only because we haven't seen that matchup yet. Like Maple Leaf already put out Corbin and Latimer. So what are we getting out of a rematch? There was a low blow to get the victory, but who cares? You know, like that's not going to change an audience wanting to see that. Jinder Mahal still has some WWE fans. I know it's not a lot, but you know, like if he beats Jinder Mahal after beating Heath Slater, then I mean the next obvious answer is Drew McIntyre, right? 3-man band, come on.
Yeah, no,
3-man band. All right, I'm at it.
Wow.
Well, I'm glad he's gone.
And Heath is the only one out of the three that has not won a world title.
And he was the only one when they cut the other two, he was the one they kept.
Yeah. He didn't get released until the pandemic, I think, right?
Yeah.
He's on a similar supplement program as Jinder and Mahal and McIntyre, though.
Yeah, well, details. You know, I missed the early days of Drew McIntyre when he was supposed to be the chosen one. I never saw those.
Hey, I heard recently that that Keith Lee might be a free agent. Now, I just got to ask because it's my job to ask the hard questions. If Keith Lee was available, if the price was right, would you bring in Keith Lee to face Tom Latimer? Jaden, you go first.
No.
All right.
I don't think he's going to be wrestling much once he does get out of his AEW contract. And he's lost a significant amount of luster while putting on a significant amount of weight.
Okay.
Maybe if it was the Keith Lee that was in NXT before he went to AEW.
Sure.
But the one now, no.
And then same question to you, Rick. What are your thoughts?
That would be, I love Keith Lee. I do. That would be a ticket that I would buy. I mean, is he going to be the same? No, he's kind of a little bit not the same Keith Lee, but it'd be something. I think there is still a little bit of star power there. People actually really do like him a lot and are wondering where the hell he is. And if he showed up in the NWA, it might get a big pop for them. Might.
And then, of course, DKM, your thoughts on that?
I haven't seen Keith Lee, I think, since his first little run in AEW. I don't know what type of shape he's in. If he was in decent shape and can still work in the ring, sure, why not? If he's the Keith Lee that I heard about during his second little stint in AEW, where he put on a lot of weight and was having a hard time moving around the ring, then no, I wouldn't want to see that. I also don't know what his health is. I know that a lot of the time he missed in WWE and some of the time he missed in AEW was not injury related, but health related. And that was what surprised me when I saw he had put on so much weight. Mm-hmm. And so, if he's been out and he's been working out and he's got his he's gotten into some shape, sure. Outside of that, I wouldn't want it.
All right, one last name I'm going to throw out there, just because coming off of a TNA run that was pretty well celebrated, and I got to recently see him live, Ace Austin. That's his name, right? Ace Austin? Yeah. He had a great run as an X Division champion, former TNA tag team champion. Guy can work. Guy has a good look. Now, obviously, he's a lot smaller in terms of height than Tom Latimer, but I would, it definitely has the look of a pro wrestler. Would that be something that would interest anybody here in the chat?
No.
All right.
Maybe against
I like it.
The junior heavyweight champion.
Yeah, I'd say he's more like a junior heavyweight champion. I love Ace Austin. I think he's awesome. He's really good. But when you think of the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, no, I don't think so. But it would be a good. I think it would still be a pretty good match, though, if they put it on.
Against Latimer, it shouldn't be. He's around my height. He's billed at around 190 pounds, which means he's probably closer to 160. Put him in the junior heavyweight picture. Put the junior heavyweight belt on him. Don't got an issue. Put him in a main event world heavyweight title match. No, I don't think so.
You have to be a special attraction, a special athlete to be a smaller guy to get a world heavyweight title shot, in my opinion, to be considered a serious challenger. There's very, very few wrestlers ever who have done that. I don't think he has that.
Most people are Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, and even then, I wasn't the biggest fan, even though he was better at it than most. But
right, and he never kept a world title long for any length of time. But yeah, it's just who was. Sorry, I'm going to take a small sidetrack. Who is your favorite small champion?
In world champion?
Yeah.
Eddie Guerrero.
In any of the promotions?
Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie Guerrero? I can go with that.
Ron Garvin.
He wasn't small, though. He was too good, 240,
He was
solid
definitely
240. Height a little shorter, but he was thick.
Yeah,
he was short, but he was a heavy man.
He was taller than Ron. He was taller than Ivan Koloff, but Ivan Koloff, when he won the WWF World Title, was also thick.
Are we able to split the in-ring career to the person outside of the ring?
I say Chris Benoit.
Yeah, I was a huge Chris Benoit guy.
Yeah,
same. Yeah. I mean, I think you can compartmentalize.
When there was the Croc Cup, when the NWA was partnering with ECW to crown their new NWA World Champion. This is hearsay. This is not fact. And Jaden might have known, and DK might even know. I was not around back then, but there was a camp that Corluzzo wanted to put the 10 pounds of gold on Benoit, and Todd Gordon, who was facilitating the tournament, was pushing for Shane Douglas. And I wonder, obviously things happen for a reason, and there's always a butterfly effect, but I always wondered what would have happened if Benoit had won the NWA World Title instead of Shane Douglas.
Could say the same thing about Bryan Danielson. There's always that what if.
Yeah. One more what if question, because some of the answers, I didn't think any of the answers were good. What do you guys think? Slice Boogie, let's bring him back. Challenge Tom Latimer, 10 pounds of gold. We in?
I like him a lot. I would love to see him back in the NWA.
I think wherever he is now, keep him there.
I say that tongue in cheek. Boogie's gotten a lot better since the last time you guys saw him. He has held a lot of regional titles here in Southern California. I feel like he could be meant for more than what he is right now. I just don't feel like he's getting himself out there. It was kind of tongue in cheek because he did have that connection to the NWA, but him and Jordan Clearwater both just kind of seemed to disappear. And when they were announced,
I think that's one of those people. If you build him up, maybe,
yeah,
but he would have to change his name.
Boogie's not right.
How about Jay, another guy from out in your area? If they would bring him in and use him and build him, what would you think about like Bad Dude Tito or whatever his name was?
Oh, God. So there was a match that took place in Hollywood for the World's Heavyweight Championship, Nick Aldis and Bad Dude Tito, and that match slapped. Tito is, and I'm going to be completely honest, I am 100% impartial when it comes to Tito. That dude put in so much work, and it seems like people talk about him like he's an overnight sensation, but he's not. He's been day in, day out type stuff. He recently got to wrestle at Dodger Stadium before a game for Mexican Heritage Night. Recently got to wrestle before a Rams game as they were doing a Lucha Libre thing with the Los Angeles Rams football team. He's wrestled for CMLL in Mexico. He's wrestled for New Japan Pro Wrestling in Japan and in the UK. He's done a lot of matches all across the US for New Japan Strong. I have nothing but the utmost respect for Bad Dude Tito. If they were to bring a guy like him in, I would celebrate that. Would he be the guy to take the belt off of Tom Latimer? Absolutely not. Is he a name that's going to draw? also probably know, is he going to put on a hell of a match with Tom? 100%. 100%.
Yeah, but putting on matches doesn't make you money.
Right.
Promoters don't realize that.
I understand that. And like I said, I can, as much as I love Tito, and I do love that guy, I can discern that he's not going to be a draw for the NWA.
Right.
Now, if they brought him in and built him up, different story. But as it stands right now, there's very few people outside of the NWA that you could put their name on an NWA poster and fans are like, hell yeah, I'm in. Rhino was a good choice. If they were back in Philly, maybe an RVD would be a good choice.
RVD will do really well in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I bet. But there's a lot of guys that won't do well as challengers for the 10 pounds of gold. So it's all kind of relative. It's like depends on where they're going to be at and all of those things. I did want to hit up one more thing. Sean Mega suggested Zilla Fatu. My problem with Zilla Fatu is he has a ton of upside, and it doesn't hurt that he's connected to the bloodline. That's literally Umaga's son. However, he is still early in the business. And I don't think he's got what it takes today to be in the ring with Tom Latimer. I don't think he has. I don't think that's a draw. I don't think that's a match that'll be good. I think that'll be Tom carrying that kid in a match to try to get the most out of him. And to what extent? Like, it's not going to be a draw. If you put Zilla Fatu on a poster, that doesn't mean that they're going to get 1,000 people to come see him. Unlike Rhino, unlike RVD, unlike some of the other names that we've already mentioned tonight. I think that kid has a ton of potential, Sean. I just don't think he's not there yet. Not at all.
I wonder if Zilla likes tuna. DK should get that one.
That's bad, Jaden. Bad.
I literally have a joke for you.
I don't know what that means.
You ever watch the American Godzilla from like the 90s?
No.
Had Matthew
You
Broderick.
did yourself a favor. Had Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
In the Godzilla movie they did, which was supposed to be the last Godzilla movie of Japan for a while, where he fought pretty much every adversary he ever fought, they actually brought in the American Godzilla and he beat him in like 30 seconds. And the American dub was like, that tuna-eating slob or whatever it was.
Yeah.
All right.
Because that's Godzilla loved tuna.
And
okay.
Yeah, the American one, he ate fish. The Japanese one, he ate radiation. So
yeah,
all
they
right.
somebody decided that Jurassic Park was hot, so that's why they turned Godzilla into a giant Endoraptor kind of creature.
Yeah,
and yeah, that wasn't good.
So Matt, you missed our talk about Cardona. I don't think Cardona's the right guy. I think we've already been there, done that. I'm not saying that Cardona can't draw. I'm not saying that Cardona couldn't put on a good match. I'm saying I've already seen it, and I don't necessarily need to see it again. And the fact that Maple Leaf Pro is giving it to its audience, that's available to us as well. I mean, they're giving you the match. So I wouldn't put that as a 77 unless there's some sort of huge controversy that makes sense. But as of right now, I think it's a good match for Maple Leaf Pro. I don't think we need it for the 77 anniversary show. So
Right.
with all that being said, let's talk.
Hey, have you watched Maple Leaf Pro?
Yes. Not all of
What
it.
about you, Rick?
I've seen a little bit of it. I haven't watched a full event yet. I just don't want to. I don't subscribe to Triller anymore, like the monthly whatever it is, the streaming. Because I just
you're
cut
the
down.
reason. You're the reason why they're going out of business.
Yeah. Well, I just realized that I don't have enough time to watch a lot of wrestling anymore. Or like I said, I don't watch a lot of modern wrestling outside of certain companies. United Wrestling Network. I suffer through the NWA every week. So,
you should watch some Dog. You'd probably enjoy that.
I watch a lot of YouTube wrestling. I've watched the matches that you sent me because
Dog.
Dog.
That's so New England of you, Dog.
Look,
I'm a New Englander. What do you expect? I watched it. You sent me matches. You've had some of my my buddies up there, and Ken Powers and Wrecking Ball. So I tune into that stuff. I love Dijak. I forgot what else I was going to say.
I'm glad you didn't say you love Dave Dahl, because we'd have to definitely kick you off. You'll lose your Alliance card.
But yeah, I don't. There's no reason. I watch a lot of YouTube. I watch a lot of everything on YouTube. I have a whole schedule of wrestling shows that land through the week. You know what I mean? That are on. There's wrestling on, like, newer wrestling shows on YouTube 7 days a week. So that kind of works best for me. I've tried watching OVW, keeping up with OVW, and it's just not that interesting. Companies like that. You know what I mean?
Real quick, Matt, we did mention Bishop Dyer, Silas Mason. Go back and watch this episode, because I don't want to keep rehashing what we already talked about. But
what about? Would you guys be interested in, like, a WWE ID talent? Maybe Brad Baylor comes in and challenges for a belt of some sort, whether it be Tom Latimer or whoever else. That kid's got it. All right?
I missed what you said.
What's that?
What did you say?
Brad Baylor.
I don't know.
He's a WWE ID talent. He's a super freaking talented kid. Jaden, are you familiar with him? You're out of this area, sort of.
I don't know him. I have to look him up.
Okay.
There's a Ox. I can't think of his last name. There's a 7-foot kid who's been looking really impressive, and his name is Ox something. I liked him a lot. He recently teamed up with Wrecking Ball in the area. He's from New York, trained by Johnny Rods, and he's a big man. So I already suggested him to Dr. Zacconi to bringing in. And I know Tommy Invincible has been very popular. He's got a huge following right now.
Yeah, yep.
They might as well try to grab on him while they can get some kind of publicity out of it. I mean, they already got what was the guy's name at the 76? He does the veteran things where he's like, this is how a pro does it. This is how
the JV squad, Jack something.
Jack.
Yeah, I know who you're talking to.
Jack Vaughn, I think.
Jack Vaughn, yeah, that's it.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yep.
Yeah, I like it. I don't know that I'm the biggest fan of when I watched him actually wrestle. I mean, he's fine, but I've not gotten overly excited. But I love those clips he does.
I'm surprised the NWA hasn't brought him in at all, even for
they just did.
He was there at the Crockett Cup.
Yeah,
the JV squad were there.
Okay.
All right. So real quick, you mentioned WWE ID talent. My heart of hearts thinks that you don't put an ID talent in your world title match, but I would certainly entertain the idea of putting an ID talent in a TV title match or even a national title match. And in my area, we've had Jordan. I said Jordan Clearwater. We've had Jack Cartwheel quite frequently. I've seen what's his name? Ice Williams. But the one that I think would fit so well in the NWA is Jordan Oasis. He's got a big build. I think they call him the Nomad or something like that. He's got a good build. His repertoire is good. He's had 2 matches in Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. His last match was against Matthias. Matthias will probably be on the Alliance Blog podcast at some point in the near future. And I think that guy is very, very talented. Jordan Oasis, Matthias too, but I think Jordan Oasis is a guy that would I'm surprised he's not in more places than he is now. Like, I'm surprised he's not in MLW. I'm surprised he's not working GCW shows, because he's big, he's talented. I don't know, his promos were okay, but like, I think that also, you have to have repetitions with those as well. So what goes on Power this week? Let's get that done and over with. Not a whole lot. Real quick, Roswell says Jordan Oasis. He was just up here. I saw him at Peak Sports Entertainment. What'd you think of him, Roswell? Give me an honest evaluation, real quick. Dave Scooby said Big Ben Bishop. Yeah, he's got a big name to him, and he's tall. Yeah, he's got a gimmick that's kind of over too. Like he also does skits on the internet, and people seem to really enjoy him. He needs some hymns, but other than that, he's really good. Sean Mega says L.A. Park would outdraw all those guys. Maybe. But do you really want to see L.A. Park against Tom Latimer?
I love L.A. Park. I always have, but he's apparently got a bad attitude, so likes to go into business for himself.
Could you imagine Tom having to beat the shit out of him because he's going into business for himself?
Would he really outdraw those people? Or
who are you talking about? The ID guys, probably.
Well, the ID, yes, but I mean, just like
depends on where it's at, right? Because if you go to a place with a lot of Hispanic culture, people who grew up watching Lucha Libre, yeah, LA Park on the poster is going to sell a ticket. But like I don't think that's going to draw in North Carolina. I don't think that's going to be a draw in Atlanta.
Yeah, and that's kind of my point. I go, you get the right person in the right spot, sure, you're probably going to draw more. Which, like one of the things NWA has failed to do when they've come to Texas is get the right person.
I mean, we got Sam Adonis one time, and it's like, wait, what? He's not even a Texas native. He's from Philadelphia. No, he's from
Pittsburgh, I think.
Pittsburgh, yeah. Okay, Philadelphia. I was right.
Yeah,
that's not right.
It's like
that's like calling
Pennsylvania.
Houston and Dallas the same thing.
Excuse me. I meant to say Pennsylvania. My apologies. That's on me. That's on me, guys.
Are you the same as San Jose?
I just did an R-Truth moment. That's on me. That's on me, guys.
My bad, dog.
My bad. I was thinking Pennsylvania, and it said Philly, and I was like, wait. As soon as I said it, I was like, oh, come back. I can't. Yeah.
But, yeah, I think you can get it, let's be honest. There's not a lot of people out there that can draw.
Yeah.
I bet you LA Park do well in Texas.
Yeah, I think you would.
In the right part of Texas. I don't know that he'd do well here in DFW. He'd probably do well in Houston.
Why wouldn't he be? The Jose Lothario did well in that area.
Super Sock.
Black Gorman did well in that area.
Long time ago.
Business here, too. One of my favorite wrestlers.
When Blue Demon Jr. came to DFW, he drew 250.
What did he draw in Brownsville?
Brownsville, I don't know, but just north of Corpus, which is the one I think you're thinking of, he drew 1,500.
Yeah.
So again, right person, right place. When he was in Houston, he went to Houston. He drew 100.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be in the right place. You got to do the right promotion. You got to know who your audience is, or how to get to the audience that they're likely to bring. Just, this is the old pole jump conversation. What good is a name really going to do you? What do you need? How do you take care of things? And how much do they cost? What's their benefit versus what they bring in? And so, I could
hear voices again.
I could bring in stuff and, people and pay a lot of money, and they ain't going to put 10 more people in the building.
Yeah.
And so,
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, we all know you got to do a lot of things right to get successful.
Mm-hmm. Overmetal says, I'm betting that 77 is going to be in Chicago this year, since All Out is in Toronto. Now, that is very interesting. Chicago has a territory, so they've already kind of have. I'm not saying like the Highland Park studio is not where you're going to have the 77 anniversary show, but they do have a presence in the area. There are a lot of decent talent in that Midwest area. It's not far from talent for Exodus Pro or from, it's a little bit farther away from Nashville, but not that far. If they were in Chicago, I think that would be very nice for the territories. But again, it's like,
I'm kind of surprised they haven't told us yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, the talent doesn't know either, so don't feel bad.
Well, at one time they were hinting that it might be Iowa.
See, that's where they should be going, like I'm telling you. But, like, again, who's the draw in Iowa? Like, what? That's when you book Jinder Mahal, because people are like, oh, that's a WWE guy. I want to go see the WWE guy.
If you build it, they will come.
Well,
this cornfield could draw really well, apparently.
I wasn't planning on going to Crockett Cup this year. That it was not. My wife and I had discussed things. I just got back from the UK. I was like, you know what? We're spending all this money to go to Scotland and London. I don't feel like I need to go to Crockett Cup this year. And then they announced Natty Neidhart, and I'm like, man, I got to be there for that. And so I'm a guy that if it's the right person, I might find a way to get to that show. And I know I'm not alone in that, because a lot of people came out just for Natty Neidhart. So my question is like, if you could find the right person, it doesn't really matter where you're at. People will travel to see the right person, but who's the right person to take on Tom?
Do you want to see Tom versus Natty Neidhart?
No, but I'm not into intergender matches.
Nope.
Why? So I could see Natty wipe the floor with them? No, thank you.
I have a really tasteless joke, but I won't use it.
You better not. At some point, I'd like to have Tom on the show, and he won't come on with shit like that. All right. So before we get to Power, real quick, I do want to acknowledge there is a new NWA Texas champion, Izzy James.
I don't know, is he?
I knew you were going there. That's why I tried to beat you to the punch. I will say this. And I need to get DK's opinion publicly on the title belt, although now I think I deleted it, so it's not on the screen anymore. We have a new Texas title. DK, have you seen it yet? I'll try to put it up on the screen, but have you seen the belt yet?
Oh, I've seen the belt. I've expressed some opinions on that belt.
I think it's less ugly than the Chicago one.
All right, so here it is. Because you said it. Chicago, Texas, Chicago, Texas.
Chicago would make a good power ring for like a B-level superhero.
Now, let me ask you this. Why is it men's heavyweight champion? Is there a women's heavyweight champion? Is there a non-binary heavyweight championship? I mean, heavyweight is indicative of a men's title. That seems ridiculous.
Maybe there's a men's junior heavyweight champion. That's why.
But you would just call it a junior heavyweight title. Like, in terms of the weight divisions, women's wrestling is typically open weight, and rarely do the men's weight divisions even exist. And when they do, it's very shoddy at best. But let's talk real quick about the Texas title.
This is what happens when you have somebody who does sculptures make championship belts.
Okay.
Surprised you spelled NWA right.
DK, you are from Texas. This belt represents your hometown, your home state. I know Izzy James has been around the area for a while. First, let's let a Texan tell us about Izzy James and the Texas title.
Who's Izzy James? No, just kidding. Gregory James, Isaiah James, Izzy James. All the
Is
same
he not
guy.
James?
All the same guy, gone through some gimmick changes over the years. He actually challenged for the NWA World Junior Heavyweight Championship at the Parade of Champions that IHWE put on. The first time WWE was here for WrestleMania. It's funny, he was the last minute substitute in that match. And that was like the only title that was supposed to change hands that night. And since he was a last minute substitute, of course, and they already had plans to put on somebody else, they didn't change the title. But let me tell you, that was a very good match. And there was about 2 or 3 moments in the match that several of us thought, they are going to change the title. And he's been around for a while. He wrestled in IHWE quite a bit. He held the tag team titles. Part of the Unholy Alliance. He held what would become the Junior Heavyweight Championship. It was called the J Cup at the time. He and Barrett Brown swapped the title back and forth a couple times when Barrett Brown wrestled as Americos. And so he's been around. He's been a steady hand. This is probably, he's won some promotional titles in the area. I think he's currently in Houston. Lives in Houston. But
damn liberal.
I don't know. And I think this is really kind of his first major title. And I'll be honest, I was surprised when I learned that he was the one that won it. I don't know how the title was decided. I don't know if it was just a mini tournament, a multi-man match, or if they just put two guys in the ring together. But he's a solid wrestler. He's an entertaining wrestler, so he's not a bad choice. I'm going to have to go dig out a real Texas Heavyweight Championship belt so that, you know, he can have something to be proud of instead of that piece of shit. But, yeah, so I'm happy.
You're muted.
I'm happy he won.
I saw your response to Joe Galley. He's like, let me get him a real Texas title.
Yeah.
And that tickled me because I get these are Billy Corgan. You know, his friend is designing these belts for him, and this person's an artist, and I get it. It's an Art Deco. It's a minimalist thing, whatever. A title is
ugly.
A title's supposed to be loud. It's supposed to be overstated,
ostentatious,
and lights, camera, action. Like, give me something to be like, ooh. I look at that and I think like that should have been in a movie theater poster back in the 1920s. The Kaylee Picture House, man. Like what are we talking about? That's supposed to be a title.
I've seen Texans with bigger and better looking belt buckles than that.
Go to any rodeo, you'll see a better looking belt.
And bigger and more gold and ostentatious.
Exactly.
There was one that's the size of the NWA Women's Championship that DK has.
You have that belt. I forgot about that. Let's get to Power real quick because I do want to talk about it.
Yeah, pull this Band-Aid off quick.
Yeah, because
so we can do it in about 3 minutes.
Well,
probably not that quick.
I'm going to be 100% honest.
I could.
I wanted to know what was going to happen with Tom and Aaron Stevens. I wanted to see if this was going to be a match that would make me happy because on the pre-party, I was talking about how good of a wrestler Aaron Stevens has been, but we hadn't seen him in an NWA televised ring since the World as a Vampire tour back in Mexico City. I was looking forward to seeing a very competitive match. You know, when Aldis and Stevens wrestled, you know, you got a look at Stevens being Stevens. A grappler, a wrestler, a shooter, somebody who grew up with the business, someone who's put time in. And I was really hoping to see that. What I saw in the few minutes that I watched was the drizzling shits.
Dave Dahl quality.
No, Dave Dahl has had better matches every day of the week compared to this. I don't understand. Well, and I'm going to steal DKM's line. The cinematography match, the cinematic match, whatever you want to call it, this thing was popular 4 years ago during COVID when they had empty arena shows. It was dated then. It's dated now. Lucha Underground did similar things, but at least Lucha Underground had exciting wrestling to go with it. This was neither exciting nor interesting. It was garbage. And you use a cinematic match to hide the inadequacies of the performers in the match. You know, Sting had that cinematic match in AEW. Undertaker had that cinematic match in the WWE. They're hiding the inability to wrestle at a high elite level through camera tricks and weird storytelling. This was shit. And I was shocked. Not shocked, disappointed that people in our Discord, NWA fans, were like, yeah, that's pretty cool, man. What? I couldn't be more disappointed in the NWA and having this match. We keep talking about there's a lot of quality content in there. I can't wait to see what happened at Hard Times. And you gave me this? I was so disappointed with the few minutes that I watched. I didn't even watch Power. I didn't watch Power. I felt embarrassed for watching what I did watch. So my apologies to the Southern Six and the Country Gentlemen, because I love and respect all those guys. But I didn't even watch it just out of protest. So, Rick, I'm going to let you take over from here. I know DKM has some thoughts. Jaden didn't watch it, so he and I will just sit here and be quiet.
I'm the smartest one out of the four of you. Go ahead.
This match, I mean, I think the opening match was what, 15 minutes, DK? Something like that?
Too long.
Yeah, well, all right. We'll get into that. I'll talk about that a little bit. I enjoyed the first match, but then this happened. And it went for like 30 some odd minutes, it seemed. And it just went on forever and ever and ever. And just every time you thought it was over, it restarted. And I was just like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. I hate cinematic matches. This has to be one of the worst I've ever witnessed on television. And I'm surprised that the NWA, who claims they want to restore, legitimacy and all that other stuff, would put some crap like this on. It was not entertaining by any stretch. I mean, it was just, I was annoyed and pissed watching this.
As you should be.
I was going to say, yeah. Look, I watched this episode. I watched the full episode because I had no idea what was going to happen at the end. So I watched the full episode, and this is everything I hate about sports entertainment.
Yeah.
Everything. A match, a no disqualification match with a stupid name. Blood and grit. Because we're in the South, or we're taking on people from the South, or whatever. So, okay. It was a no DQ match. It was supposed to be like a street fight, but it wasn't a street fight because they were in regular wrestling gear instead of street gear. And it was just, as Jim Cornette would say, lazy booking. There were no, did they even say who the tag team champions were? Because nobody had the belts. And it was Alex Taylor, Alex Taylor grew on me for a while, but apparently I found the right fungus remover. And now I'm kind of totally over him. And so it's someone get the junior heavyweight title off of him, because he's had it too long and he's not really doing anything with it. And, put it on Slade or somebody. Heck, put it on our friend, what's his name? Apollo's son. Alex Misery.
Alex Misery.
I'm not even the biggest Alex Misery fan, but put it on him, let him do something with it. I think Thrillbilly did do a promo that make you understand why he's can be a star if they would actually use him correctly. But then again, they had their back and forth with what's his name, bald guy.
That doesn't narrow down at all, by the way. But I think you mean
the ring announcer interviewer,
Kyle Davis.
What?
Kyle Davis.
Kyle Davis, yes. Him.
Kyle Durden.
They did more. They did more of that crap. I wasn't interested the first time they did that. I'm not interested now. Stop feuding your wrestlers with ring announcers. Oh, and by the way, someone get Billy Corgan the fuck off commentary.
You say that every week,
Well,
he brings down.
I'm sorry, I took several weeks off. I forgot how bad he was. I take several weeks off. The only wrestling I've watched, I didn't watch WWE. I didn't watch anything.
It was funny.
The only wrestling I watched were some dog matches, real wrestling. And I come back to watch NWA, and I see this large steaming pile of crap. It was horrible. The match was passable in the sense that, at least it was wrestlers facing wrestlers. And Billy always makes it sound like, oh, I have to do these weird, crazy matches so we can settle things. And, of course, it never settles anything. And then if you do like he did with that Caribbean Flow tag team that split up, the one that wins leaves. He's on commentary. He makes no sense. He can't explain his own rules, why he does things. I see why the booking's so bad. He can't even tell us why. And then a cinegraphic match with Aaron Stevens, who can put on a good wrestling match. Latimer, who can put on a good wrestling match. Something that's 4 years old that none of the other places do anymore. And I'm sorry, Sean. No, this isn't what Paramount wants. This isn't what anybody who wants wrestling wants.
Right.
Ew.
Could you imagine if the premiere episode of NWA that airs on Wrestling Central is that, and this new audience that you're reaching out to that Paramount is putting money into, and WOW is going to put on their best matches, and there's going to be a vault of matches from the wrestling's yesteryear. And then as you're watching, the NWA is like, hey, we're the NWA, history, tradition, legacy, right? 10 pounds of gold, same belt Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes held. And here's what we got. And it's that.
Well, and that's even part of my point. I don't want anyone to talk about how they do old school wrestling. This is 100% sports entertainment. They're 5 years behind WWE.
The worst part of WWE, by the way.
Yeah, one of the worst time periods of WWE. And they're 5 years behind in mimicking them. And I guess TNA did the cinema matches too with the Hardys, which, no, I never enjoyed those either. And it's just like, what? Why? They don't do it anymore either. You know why? Because it's not any good. If they were popular, they would still be doing them.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. They're just garbage. They're unentertaining. They're poorly put together. Billy his mic needs to be shut off during commentary. I think he brings the booth down, Gally and Danny Deals, because I think that, Joe, and I've said this before, that Joe's probably the best commentator on TV, but he has to suffer by sitting with Billy Corgan, and Billy makes him act a certain way on commentary. Like when he yells, he just doesn't sound, you know what I mean? When he's more calm, he sounds like a true sports announcer, like a Gordon Soley or Lance Russell or something to that effect.
Yeah, I heard actually Billy Corgan won the Art Donovan Susan St. James Award for wrestling commentary. Again, there's some deep cuts there. And not WCW deep cuts either.
Yeah,
you ain't Tom Green, sir.
Neither is he.
Yeah.
It is absolutely horrendous. And it's funny, for a guy that I remember everyone used to tell me at the beginning of the NWA, the thing, Billy Corgan's the one in charge. He's the one that's responsible for everything.
Still is.
Yeah, well, but the idea was that he was behind everything. It's like, I don't know. I feel like probably there are other people. He might have like the broad direction, but I felt like there were other people that were probably doing a lot of the stuff. And then Jay died. I'm sad. I take my hat off, but I'm not wearing one. Yeah, it's like I don't know what happened. Now he's everywhere. And someone brought up like him doing a promo suggesting maybe they were leaving X or whatever. Remember when this was filmed? How many months ago was it?
Yeah.
3 months. And now they're talking about putting old things on whatever that streaming crap is.
Does he think, is his thought process is that he's a celebrity and that's what's going to draw people to watching because he is a rock star and he's,
it's called it's called being a SPO.
I don't see any, I have no reason to sit there and watch him. I saw the Smashing Pumpkins in 1992 in front of 30 people. I don't need to, see him currently. I have not gone to an arena to see him in 25 years, maybe more. I don't know. It's just,
Rick,
yes.
I didn't grow up a Smashing Pumpkins fan. And that era was the time of music that I was listening to. Since then, I've seen the Smashing Pumpkins twice. I was supposed to see them in Mexico City, but then I found out there was a Lucha Libre show happening at the same time. So I went to see
go to the
MLL.
Lucha show. Yeah,
I made the right decision. And now, and I will say this: Billy Corgan's a hell of a guitarist. He's a hell of a musician.
I've been a fan since their first album, and I don't think I saw them after 1996 or 1997 because they started to change as a band at that time, but he's using his supposed celebrity status to try to draw people. And if anything, it's going down the toilet. It's making it worse.
If Billy Corgan was the captain of the Titanic, not only would the Titanic sunk, the iceberg probably would have sunk too. And the ocean probably would have started doing cinematic matches.
Would have boiled. I mean, but yeah, Billy thinks his own celebrity is what does it. And I can remember Pollo talking about one time. Yes, Billy talks to a lot of people and gets a lot of opportunity to talk simply because of who he is.
Right.
And yes, I certainly 100% agree with that. But it's not done him a lot of good. And
I think he might be an idiot. I mean, just saying. But
well, you'll notice that he has twice, and he did this with Crockett Cup this year, as Jay knows. He has twice done things where you can pay just to see and talk to him before. And I don't know how many people were there for that, Jay.
They had probably I want to say 30 to 40 people there. It was decent. Our pal Dave Scooby was there. I lucked into getting to see it. Pollo hooked me up with a press pass, and Paul
Mr. Influencer there left his friends outside.
Shit.
Just like he left his daughter to be in the away from the crowd.
So I messaged Paul while we were sitting there, and I said, "Hey, Paul, are you here in Philly?" Because I didn't even think to ask. And Paul responds, "Yeah, I'm in here doing merch." I said, "Hey, any chance you could get the Alliance guys in?" And he's like, and then he left me on red. So I was like, okay, well, I get it. He's busy. And we were maybe the 10th or 12th people in line, whatever. And then Paul's out there with some media guys, and Paul's letting some Malcolm Muscle, they let him in with a media pass, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And Paul says, "Jay, how many people do you have?" And I look at Milk Mascaras, and I look at Big Chris Dog. I go, "I got 3." And Paul goes, "I can only let you in, Jay." And I look at Milk, and I look at Big Chris. I said, "Bye, bitches." No, I'm kidding. I said,
"Hey, losers," is actually what he said.
I said, "Get out, losers. We're going shopping." No, I think I did right. I was like, "You guys, I'll stay here." And both of them, "No, Jay, go." And I'm like, "All right, I'll go. I'll take one for the team and leave you guys out here like."
Yeah, but they didn't tell you why they wanted you to go.
We said, "No, Jay, don't go, Jay, don't go." But he just heard "go."
Oh, I heard what I wanted to hear.
Yeah. I bet you if it was just me, I might have, and I wasn't wearing the mask, I probably could have got in. But
yeah, no, I think if it would have been 2 people, I bet Paul would have okay, I'll get you in. But it was 3, and now that's kind of pushing the envelope.
Right.
I'll never wear that mask again. That was so hard to see in.
I've got a Ray mask for you. I'll bring it next time.
I'll just wear the other one I had. That would work well. The first one I had. I didn't know it was the first time I wore that mask. I mean, I love the mask itself, but
yeah. All right. So we did a lot of talk about the NWA. Obviously, Power. It did leave a bad taste in my mouth, and I hate to say it because like I think in general I can find redeeming qualities about Power, and like, oh, maybe I didn't like this, but I did like this, or maybe this wasn't good, but this was enjoyable. This was. I think if I had given it a chance, I probably would have enjoyed 7-6 and the Country Gentleman because I like all those guys.
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that match. That for some reason, but it was the main event that just tore it down for me. You know.
And
don't go with anything except for the. I want to know what were the matches, but don't go into any details. Just give me like a quick.
That was it. Those were the two matches. That was it.
Oh, it was just a Country Gentleman and a cinematic match.
Yeah, and then they did declare the presidency of the territories did go to Papa Joe Kazana. And, you know, like, I know it's a gimmick. I know it's a work, but it's probably the right person to do it. Kenzie's got too much going on being world champion. Pastor CeeLo is not a face that's recognizable to most of the NWA audience.
And he's asking, what you talking about, Willis? Too much.
Yeah.
We're talking to Mr. Papadopoulos, whatever short African American from the 80s you want to reference.
I'll be right back. Talk about it.
Oh, talk about it more. I didn't like it. All right. Well, you're the lead on this one, Rick.
What? I don't know what you're referring to.
I was calling CeeLo Green or whatever his name was. I was calling him. I was calling him Gary Coleman or Webster, Manuel Lewis.
Gotcha. Why am I sounding like that?
You sound perfectly fine to us, so it's probably something with you.
Oh, I feel like I have an echo of some sort. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe it went away.
They did declare, you know, I like Joe Kazana. He's been a friend of our show. He's been on a couple of times. He's the guy that's mostly connected to the business. You know, I could not stomach the idea of watching Brian Idol try to tell us about wrestling politics. I can't even stand to watch that guy cut a promo. So,
or wrestle,
or wrestle, or exist. You know, like
yeah. See?
I'm not. I don't wish death on anybody, right? But I can do without. I can do without.
I'd just rather not have him exist in any wrestling television show that I'm watching. That's
see. Again, I watched the 76. I think you guys just have something against him. He wasn't the match he had at the 76 or whatever it was. The Crockett Cup was good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad you think so.
Even Clearwater, who still doesn't have a clue what beta alanine is.
I don't know if you did that on purpose, but that's not Clearwater. That was Carson Drake.
Yeah, I forgot. I liked him better when it was Jordan Clearwater.
You stole my bit, you son of a bitch. Overmetal says, now that Joe Kazana is president, I can push for the 1974 rules to be reinstated on Twitter. By the book, baby. Doesn't sound so bad after this week, does it? Not at all. Look, if they want to bring back some of the rules, like we could ban pile drivers, no dives off the top rope, any over the top ropes and automatic disqualification.
Over the top rope disqualification. Yeah. Sorry, we went for that same line at the same. Yeah. See, that's the wrestling that I grew up on and I enjoyed with those like rules. You know what I mean?
And I always got a kick out of it when they distracted the referees so Bobby Eaton could do the Alabama leg drop, the Alabama Slam or whatever.
Alabama Jam.
Alabama Jam. There it is. Alabama Slam was Hardcore Holly's spine buster, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, so we talked about the NWA. We're going to do something a little bit different. We want a palate cleanse. We want some good wrestling. So we're going to watch a few Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiator matches from their events, not shows. And we invite you guys to hang out with us while we watch and talk about it. We will put it on the screen. We do have blessing from Dr. Lawrence Zirconium to show their content. So hopefully YouTube won't ding this for us stealing their content. But
you sure you have permission to event their content?
No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Sorry for the small version of us, but we are going to get going here. We'll just do that.
I'm so little. I represent the Lollipop Guild.
No, I like this one better. Okay. And let's see if I can do this correctly.
Who's that getting punched, by the way? I mean, I always forgot to ask.
Okay. Real quick. That is Brody Lee. No, not Brody Lee. That's not
Brody
the right
King?
guy. Brody King. Thank you. And that is former NWA World Heavyweight Champion Satoshi Kojima.
I knew Kojima. I just didn't know it was Brody King.
And that was from the Crockett Cup 2018, I believe.
Oh.
Yours truly took that picture, and the photo came out okay. That graphic looks so good to me. I loved it so much. That's why I used it.
I thought you were going to do something outerworldly, but okay. Or otherworldly.
Everyone that you've seen so far is the pre-party since. All right. Oh, so we're going to go with Tyson Maddox with Connor the Flag Boy versus our very own Wrecking Ball Legursky. If you guys are all right with that, we're going to push play right now.
We are calling the evening, ladies and gentlemen. My partner Mark is on the floor. Camera one.
You guys hear it okay?
It's a little quiet.
I can
Sean Beckerman is the ring announcer. He's gotten a lot of praise as being a good ring announcer.
Is here. A hired gun.
First of all, what he fails to realize is my last match he put me up against, he fall off. He sat on me, and I turned something in my shoulder. So I couldn't wrestle today, so I got rolling, man. The rolling, Tyson Maddox. Let's bring that big piece of crap out here to Tyson Maddox because come on out here to Jersey.
Yeah, see, what happened is Falaba squashed Connor the Flag Boy, and he alleged that he wasn't allowed to wrestle, so the doctor won't let him wrestle. So he brought in Tyson Maddox, this big, beefy, brawling beast.
Tyson Maddox versus Wrecking Ball Legursky. What a matchup we have the pleasure of witnessing here tonight, and I have the pleasure of calling for you.
By the way, that referee is going to be wrestling for New Japan Strong soon.
The referee?
An absolute
Yeah.
beast of a man standing in the ring. The hired gun.
Someone should have told her to tuck in her shirt.
By Connor Schaefer.
If she would have tucked in her shirt, you wouldn't be able to see her.
Connor Schaefer wanted no part in going.
Who's the announcer? Not the announcer. Who's the announcer, the broadcast announcer.
He's one of the members of the Burning Hammer podcast. That's about as much as I can tell you.
All right.
What do we have you for then?
I don't know. I was flirting with some of the college boys during this time.
Jim Molyneux has it out for him.
Yeah, former Commissioner Jim Molyneux was the one that originally split the match. It was supposed to be Connor the Flag Boy versus Wrecking Ball Legursky.
With the hired gun, the Brolic. Tyson Maddox.
You know, some people in the NWA said they didn't see anything in Tyson Maddox.
That's crazy to me. Who said that?
I don't know officially, but I've heard that they have no interest in them. They didn't see anything. Wait till he takes that hat and shirt off, by the way. He's originally from Louisiana. He's now living in Atlanta, Georgia right now.
Wrecking Ball chants break out through the crowd. Of course, we know Wrecking Ball Legursky from NWA.
Hey, look, an NWA shout out.
So tell us a little bit about the ring psychology that's going on here,
Gets the crowd
Jaden.
on his side.
You got two big beefy mothers that just want to beat the crap out of each other. Wrecking Ball is definitely the favorite. Again, it was supposed to be Wrecking Ball versus Connor the Flag Boy. He allegedly wasn't allowed to wrestle by the doctor. They wouldn't clear him. So he brought in this big beefy boy in Tyson Maddox. Now Tyson Maddox currently wrestles for Big Japan Pro Wrestling as his big promotion that he works for. He is very thick and very strong. He reminds me a lot of Bobby
Brolic
Lashley
Tyson
and Apollo
Maddox.
Crews if they had a child.
Finally removing his entrance gear as he's ready.
And when
to
Wrecking
take
Ball is at his
on
best, he's got
Wrecking
very
Ball
Bam Bam
Legursky.
Bigelow-esque qualities.
Yes.
You've seen Wrecking Ball in NWA.
He's a lot more serious
Tyson
in
Maddox
Dangerous
in
Adrenaline
Big
Wrestling
Japan.
Gladiators, and you see him in the NWA. He still has
Both
his
these men
theatrics
traveled
and
the
his
world
histrionics,
to step into the squared circle.
but he's a
And here
lot
they
more
are
of
tonight
a
in
serious pro
Plattsburgh, New
wrestler
Jersey.
in Dog. And that's because he knows
Set
the
to
level of
face
competition
one-on-one.
between this Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators is second to none. And Dave Dahl's there too. And apparently Colin the Shadow Boy.
I know that in the NWA, Wrecking Ball
Seems it's a
Legursky,
battle of the minds
him
so
and
far.
Jay Bradley
Which
recently
one can
split,
gain the upper hand,
and it seems
and
like
which
Wrecking Ball
one
Legursky
will let
might be the one to
other
go
get
face.
to him.
And I gotta tell you, man, watching him wrestle for Dog makes me think that this is going to be a very
The
positive
chant-off
spin
is
for
still
Wrecking Ball
going.
in the NWA as a babyface.
Yeah, and his match with Jay Bradley at the Crockett Cup was very entertaining. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good.
Except for when they would hit each other on the guardrails right in front of us.
Oh my God.
Circling each other up.
He nearly
And
died.
they lock up in the middle of the ring.
But look at how well Legursky's working the crowd.
Tyson backs Wrecking Ball into
Yeah.
the corner.
I mean,
I'd say
Wrecking
about
Ball pushes
80
him
to
away,
95% of this
showing
crowd
the
has
strength of
never
his
been to a wrestling event before.
The
And
Wrecking
then
Ball
very
will not
many of them
be
never even
bullied
seen
by the
wrestling.
Brolic, and he's making that known early in this match.
that Maddox, he's no small guy.
No, and he's like, I don't think the camera work and the what you're seeing on screen really shows how big his
Brolic
muscles
interacting with
are.
the crowd now. Wrecking Ball Legursky just
I got some ideas.
just looks pissed off.
He's a
The
big, thick
disrespect being
man.
shown to him by Tyson Maddox.
He flies out of Atlanta if you want to ever bring him into Texas. I think he'll get over very well in Texas. And he's got a gorgeous drop kick.
I think he has wrestled somewhere here in Texas before.
Maddox makes his
I believe he
way
has
back into
too.
the ring, and Wrecking Ball follows. And Maddox taking full advantage of when Wrecking Ball had his back turned.
Yeah, that's probably the only unfortunate
classic
thing about him being in the ring with Wrecking Ball. This is your first time seeing him. You probably don't realize how big he is.
OS.
He's a big. Look at those
Trying
arms.
to get the takedown.
Yeah.
Wrecking Ball manages to get Tyson off his feet for not for long. Off the ropes.
I like that he
Shoulder
actually
tackle, but
pushed him
both
off
men
there too,
stand.
and not just like let him
Once
run to the ropes
again,
himself.
both men
Now listen to him
standing
smack.
Well,
Legursky
and also,
looking for the lariat,
you know, when
and
they were
another
hooked up
shoulder
like
tackle
that,
from
did you see the struggle?
This time Legursky
You know,
hits one and
it
he
looked
takes
like there was an actual
Maddox
struggle to
down.
try and pick him up, to try and move him around.
I also like right there that Wrecking Ball, when he came off that rope,
Wrecking Ball Legursky, famously trained by
he's
Bubba
knocked
Ray
him down
Dudley.
because he is a big,
Taven.
massive human being.
Steps over Maddox. Stalking his prey is Wrecking Ball. Looking for a splash, but a back elbow.
He's also deceptively fast. He can move that weight very quickly.
Double hand.
Now that's impressive.
Another thing I like is when they hit each other, it sounds like deep impact.
Ball Legursky. Setting him up for a suplex. Vertical suplex from Legursky. He's got him up. How long can he hold the Brolic? The Wrecking Ball showing he's got strength of his own as he slams him down. Vertical suplex. Wrecking Ball Legursky.
The Roman pronunciation is suplex, but in the French
Kick out at
pronunciation it's
two
suplex.
from Tyson Maddox.
Jaden, in the chat, they're trying to figure out where this venue is. Like, obviously, this is on the Rowan University campus.
I know Connor.
It's the
Shea.
Chamberlain Student Center at Rowan
me tell
University in beautiful
I'm not surprised.
Part of
one
Glassboro,
bit
New Jersey
he
that's
sent the
technically
Brolic
Rowan,
out
so
here
it's
to do his
Rowanville,
bidding for him.
but it's Glassboro,
The
New
kid
Jersey.
has got a lot of potential, but he's got
You can't see it,
scumbag
but there's actually,
tendencies.
you can see slightly on the top, there's some fans on the steps, but there's another
A
balcony.
big
You
right
can't
hand
see the
from
fans are
Wrecking Ball
watching.
Legursky takes down Tyson Maddox.
Yeah.
The parts above
The
those
flag boy
different
is on
things
the
that are
apron.
different parts and clubs of the Rowan University and different things, organizations.
Distracted.
There are actually fans up there watching too.
Legursky.
Stiff
And
clothesline.
a big takedown from Maddox.
By the way, you're probably not going to get
Taking full advantage
many
of that
matches
5
watched
count.
because
Tyson
most
Maddox
dog matches go
wringing
pretty
the
long
neck
on
of his
the
opponent.
events for the Rowan University.
Oh, come on, just uncalled for. At this
I
point,
don't
it's
think we're going to
uncalled
be able to get more than
He's wringing
this
the neck of
match
his
in because
opponent.
it's 22 minutes
as if
long.
it's a legal move. It's not. Now, he is allowed to take advantage of that 5 count, but the referee can disqualify him if he decides to do that one too many times. It's up to the referee. Just a diving shoulder
I didn't like that.
into the midsection of Legursky. Tyson Maddox
It
is
looked
taking
odd.
control of this match.
Yeah, it was awkward looking.
I didn't have a major
But that
issue
is
with it.
not
I understood
without
what he was
help
trying to do.
from the flag boy, Connor Schaefer.
It's not Connor Schaefer. Tell that ring announcer.
Oh,
It's
taking
Connor the flag
advantage,
boy.
Wringing the neck on the ropes. Are you kidding me? He breaks at the referee's 5 count. He's got to be careful not to get disqualified here. I mean,
Right now, it'd be wise that if he
you gotta
pulled the
think,
ref
does
away
this
and
mean
Connor did
Maddox
some
thinks he
interference.
can't
But
beat Legursky? I mean, he's taken full advantage of every 5 count the ref is giving him. Now, some may say he's just fighting smart.
And how often do you see Legursky look like he's in trouble, you know?
And he takes a bite of the Chipotle bowl.
Especially in a
from
way
the
that's
front row
believable.
crowd member.
Yeah.
Getting some protein. Maddox.
I mean,
making
this
sure
isn't,
it's well known he needs his
runt slime boy.
every match on this event brought something different. This one's two beefy guys beating the crap out of each other.
Big, meaty men slapping meat.
Legursky goes for the chop.
I was trying to get Dr. Zirconium to get Arby's to sponsor this match, mostly because I wanted some garlic bread.
Overpowering Maddox.
Looks like he's the first lady of France there, palming.
Back body drop from Tyson Maddox.
Back suplex, not back body
Showing
drop.
the brute strength of the Brolic. He goes for the pin. 1 and a kick out at 1.
I like early kickouts.
And the match, it should be. I understand waiting to get a rest. You get an extra second of rest. But you never know the cadence of a referee. He might change the cadence, and next thing you know, you're getting pinned. If you have the energy, kick out.
Wrecking ball chants rain down from this Rowan University crowd. He's got Maddox on his shoulders.
He keeps trying to fight back, and Maddox keeps stopping
as he
him.
rings the eye of his opponent. Pushed
Look at
into
this.
the turnbuckle. Scoop slam.
We had him up for a while, too.
Tyson Maddox.
Rick, how big is
Diving
Wrecking Ball?
cross body.
320? 310?
This man is making sure it is well known that he has got
He's
the
bigger than that, I think.
of a
I think he's closer to 4, I think, if I
Tyson
remember
Maddox
correctly. But he's actually gotten smaller than he
in this
was.
match
So
Yeah.
as if
maybe,
he's a cruiserweight.
That's
When he
why I
first
said
started
that
in
he
the
is
NWA,
smaller.
he
than
looked like a
Ladies and
wrecking ball.
gentlemen,
I mean, he was
is
round.
not.
Yeah. He's definitely, he's put a lot, he's
I think
definitely
they
got
need
in
to
better
bring
shape.
him in and,
His prey.
yeah. They need to treat him like
What
he's a
he's
monster
done- Oh, he
in
distracts
the
the
NWA and
ref
just kind of tear
as
through
Connor
people.
Schaefer
Just my opinion.
looks to get involved, but Legursky wringing the neck of Connor Schaefer. He might regret the day that he ever got involved in this matchup.
Listen to the fans watching, yelling for Connor to get beat up. He's got that Dave Dahl love.
But gets the job done with his back turn. Maddox is still able to deliver a blow to the back. Shoulder to the midsection. Another.
Is that campus security that just walked in?
Maddox looking for the Irish whip. Legursky won't let it happen, so he delivers some more shoulders to the midsection. And this time it works. But Legursky right back with a shoulder tackle.
See how the whole ring moved when Legursky hit the pole?
Uppercut.
Yep.
It's still shaking. Big guy.
He's big. He puts on some really big
hip toss
matches when he's up against somebody that's big and they just slapping the crap out of each other.
And the crowd is behind him. Ooh.
I would not want to be that person.
No, thank you, sir.
Ball, wrecking ball. Looking for that wrecking ball. Splash into
The fans do love him here at Dangerous John Wrestling Gladiators in Rowan University.
Did you ever see
Eyeing up for a choke slam,
the guy Adam Kerr?
There he goes.
Or no?
Adam Kerr?
No, maybe not.
I posted the link to the video in the chat, so if some of you want to go find this.
Tyson Maddox has gotten himself back into this match. Legursky gained the momentum.
Damn.
Back elbow into the corner. Clothesline.
When you have that much muscle, too, it's really not easy to go light on your clothesline.
Oh, whoa! Spine buster.
More of a lowdown.
Okay, that one surprised me.
Goes for the
I've seen the match. It still surprised me.
Oh, Legursky gets the shoulder up at 2.5. Tyson Maddox.
But you see how that's a much more impressive near fall, considering that last time
he kicked out at 1.
Yeah,
because it shows progression.
He kicked out at 1. So now you know Legursky's tired. Now you know Legursky's feeling it.
Get his opponent back on his feet. What has he got planned?
Why is the referee allowing this, Jaden?
Hey, Connor Schaefer is getting involved here.
They wanted to see that.
Oh, and Legursky makes the heads meet between Maddox and
sometimes
Schaefer.
I feel bad
Bad
for referees sometimes. It was kind of like when Bruiser Brody took
slam from Wrecking Ball Legursky.
Mark Callis in a mask outside the ring and hit him with a chair. Should have been disqualified, but that's not. Are you going to do that?
Legursky gets the win.
Not if you like living.
Yeah, exactly. You see, that was a good one for Legursky. Maddox was.
Oh no! Keep playing. Don't cut it off.
We had a hired gun, Tyson Maddox, come out here to try to get the job done for him. He wasn't able to do so.
Keep watching on this because this is interesting.
Schaefer is pissed, and I know it. But Wrecking Ball Legursky is not. A huge victory for the man.
There's a lot of people there.
Legursky working the crowd is very important here. I mean,
Did you see what happened?
Schaefer is in the face.
Oh, shit.
Well, that's the second time. He slapped him for the second time there.
Not sure that was the best move, Schaefer.
Who's this Schaefer he keeps speaking of?
I don't know. He's going to have to say it's kind of the flag boy.
Drops him in the ring. Not sure if it was the best move to get to the face of the
I'll
Brolic.
work for travel.
Wrecking Ball Legursky has Connor Schaefer in his hands. This is exactly what Schaefer didn't want.
I love that. He started doing that in the NWA too.
Right hand.
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Down Schaefer as Wrecking Ball.
You gonna break his other collarbone?
One more time. The splash. Wreck Egg Ball calls for his music.
Could ask for a 5 count.
And Connor Schaefer is laid out in the center of the ring. This is exactly what he didn't want to happen. But when you talk too much, you gotta pay for it. And that's exactly what happened once again here with Connor Schaefer.
Is that like nails on the chalkboard for you?
Yeah.
Well, have Dr.
One
C
more
clap
time,
him.
chants rain down from the crowd. As Schaefer is in the center of the ring, but Legursky does
Nah, he felt bad.
show
He felt bad.
mercy.
He already saw he was hurt.
Or does he? Splash!
Just kidding. Strike your mind.
Another splash from Legursky.
The Dave Dahl flag, too.
And Tyson Maddox.
Man, that's pretty
in the
insulting.
flag boy. As he is laid out
If you're
in
going
the
to be
ring. Exactly what
Don't
he
start
didn't
one, there
want
won't
to
be any.
happen happened anyway. Connor Schaefer has been toyed with.
I like this, by the way. He stole his shoes.
The funny thing about it is those shoes aren't going to fit Wrecking Ball. They wouldn't
No,
even
there's a symbolism there that some people may not get.
asking him to retire.
Well, if you left him in the middle, it's in prison. It wasn't uncommon to steal shoes of a person you were after.
I've never been to prison.
Would you like to be?
Have you ever seen The Office? There's a scene.
Yes, Office Mike.
There's a scene where he goes,
Or Prison Mike, I mean.
Kevin speaks to the accountant who he finds out is gay. And it says, "Oh, you don't know about
Have you ever
prison?"
wondered what the best way to do a fundraiser is?
Now you can kill it.
Hey, that was a Dangerous Gentleman Wrestling Gladiators fundraiser commercial.
Hey, we don't have time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Things
Are you
people
guys-
ain't got time for. That.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, look, in most days I wouldn't have a problem with it, but in the effort of keeping this brief, we have one more match that we could play, or we could call it a night. And I'm gonna let the host decide, because we're not gonna watch the 25-minute match, but there is a 19-minute match. So, what do you guys want to do? You want to watch Valerie Vermin versus Notorious Mimi, or are we calling it a night?
We already know DK's answer on that one.
Well, what I would suggest is that's another one that takes a little bit of time, for the introductions and everything. But we can jump to the actual start of the match. It would be good.
I don't know. I think as much Valerie and Mimi that's on this podcast will definitely help the viewership. Why don't we just do it next week?
All right, we can do it next week. I don't have a problem with that. And then, all right, so we'll do it next week.
And maybe one week we'll start with the Dijak match and versus Goldie, who, by the way, I think could take Tom Latimer.
Goldie or Dijak?
Yes, but Goldie.
I've been talking Goldie's name up in multiple places. So
This is David Goldie, the World Wrestling Grand Prix champion, and you're listening to the Alliance Guys podcast.
That was a loud crowd.
Yeah.
We were nowhere near the ring when we were recording that.
So I know that there's a laundry list of things that are coming up for Dangerous Journal Wrestling Gladiators, for the Pro Wrestling Wire. Heck, I'm even going to plug my own thing first because, well, who's going to stop me? This Tuesday, live on our Twitch channel, I will be talking to Big Mama. It was supposed to be this past Tuesday. However, a surprise booking came up for Big Mama, and this isn't a paid gig talking to me, so she had my blessing to go do get that work. So
but she gets exposure bucks from you guys, the
exposure bucks, and yeah. Anyways, so that's it for me. I will also be here for the pre-party next Tuesday, as well as the other Alliance guys next Thursday. And you can follow us all, the Alliance, on all social media at the Alliance blog. Now, please listen to my friend Rick Del Santo tell you what's coming up next for Pro Wrestling Wire.
This coming Tuesday night, 7 p.m. on YouTube, I will be sitting down with 5-time WWF Tag Team Champion Tony Gurria.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. We also have interviews with the AWA's illustrious Johnny Stewart coming up, as well as former NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion Ricky Nelson. Let's see what else. We have Moondog Splat talking about his career. And I know there's a couple others. I just can't. I just did a whole announcement and I can't think of. Rick McCord, who worked in Memphis and Mid Atlantic and World Class. Central States. Thank you.
I think even in Portland.
He did. Yes, he did Portland, and I know there's more. And I will announce them as they come.
Mid Atlantic.
Definitely have some more. Yeah, Mid-Atlantic. I said that. Yep. And I think he was in WCW a little bit in 1991. So, I got some more stuff coming up. I have a lot in the works that I'm working on as far as guests. So just stay tuned and check it out. Definitely check out the Tony Gurria one. I'm really, it's already recorded. Just drops on Tuesday, and it was a lot of fun. We got to talk about. We lived in the same town for a number of years. And I used to see him at the grocery store all the time. And it was always fun to, see him and catch up on living in Hamden and New Haven, Connecticut at one point at the same time.
Can you name all 5 partners he had? Or not 5 partners, but who he was teaming with for each 5 of the rings?
It was Rick Martel, Larry Zbyszko, Dean Ho, and Haystacks Calhoun.
That's an interesting list right there.
Twice. Yeah, he won the titles twice with Martel, I believe it was.
Yes.
He's one of Jay's favorite wrestlers.
At the time, 5-time champion, that was a record. Yeah, he held the record for a long time.
Yeah. A great guy, by the way. And,
former agent, too, with the WWF.
Yeah, long-time agent.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that. I wanted to stick it mostly to his career and not necessarily about the agenting career, but we did get a little bit into it.
Yeah, that's when, too, by the way, agents back in those days, they were not like the agents now. That's a sign of ultimate respect to be an agent back then, because that means that you did something great for the company and they're thanking you by giving you the agent job, which was a thankless job otherwise.
Yep.
All right. So, again, we have links to the Pro Wrestling Wire in our co-conspirators section of the YouTube channel. Please check it out. Please, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to Rick's channel. Help support his growth there, too, because, I mean, a lot of the great content is available to you. And, especially going back to yesteryear, I think it's really cool that you're giving a voice to some of the legends that I'm not going to say have been forgotten, but I just don't feel like people give enough credit to these days. And I think that's really cool. And I admire that a lot about your channel, is that it has such a great focus on the history of wrestling.
I love the history, and it's really fun. So sorry about that, Jay.
No, you're all good. You're all good. Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators has an event that's coming up very, very soon. In fact, I've got posters ready. So we know Saturday, June 28th in Pleasant Riverton, New Jersey. Jaden, you can take over.
In beautiful, historic Riverton, New Jersey, Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators comes back for the All-American Bash. The main event, the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators Heavyweight Championship, will be on the line as new champion Vinny the Fixer takes on the incredibly popular Marvelous. The World Wrestling Grand Prix Women's Championship will be on the line as number 1 contender Stevie Brooks finally gets her shot at the champion Valerie Verman. The Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators Tag Team Championship will be on the line as Dave Dahl and Dylan Mesh take on Primal Fear. You might remember Primal Fear from Ring of Honor Wrestling. Also on the card, OVW star D-Gap Bundles, former WWE and Ring of Honor star Tang Tolan, the World Wrestling Grand Prix champion David Goldie, Biggie Biggs, and so much more. Plus, a special appearance from world-ranked bantamweight professional boxer Emmanuel Rodriguez. Tickets are only $20. The doors open 7 p.m. and the bell time is 7:30. When you spend that $20, you get the entire seat, but you're only going to need the edge. Call 856-417-4187 for information. Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, the All-American Bash. I hope I don't have to do that voice for the next one because my throat's really sore now.
Why don't we do the next one next week?
No, because I got some announcements to put them all up. This is live pro wrestling, Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, the dog days of summer at the Monmouth County Fair. Fair admission only $10. Get you not only professional wrestling action, but admission to the fair. There's going to be 5 days of wrestling action, and make sure you're there every one of those 5 days. The address is the East Freehold Showgrounds in Freehold, New Jersey. This is the 50th anniversary to the Monmouth County Fair, and make sure you are there. You're going to see Primal Fear, Vinny the Fixer, the current Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators heavyweight champion, Biggie Biggs, Monmouth's own Biggie Biggs. You have the World Wrestling Grand Prix champion David Goldie, assuming he's still champion. TNA Impact Superstar Falaba, the World Wrestling Grand Prix Women's Champion Valerie Verman, assuming she's still Women's Champion, Tank Tolan, and so much more. Wrestling is free with admission to the fair. Again, you can go on Wednesday, July 23rd, Thursday, July 24th, Friday, July 25th, even though it says July 27th there. Or you can go to Saturday, July 26th. There's 4 events on that day. And then there's also ends on Sunday, July 27th. There's 3 events the first 3 days, 4 on Saturday, and 3 again on Sunday. Again, that's dog days of summer. Monmouth County Fair. Make sure you are there. If you are not there, then you are not a true wrestling fan. And I'm sure somebody said that once in the NWA. Sorry, I had to get a little comment in there.
Real quick, Luther says, come for the wrestling, stay for the skinny juggling German.
Yes. And the pig races. Yes, Dave Dahl. That's not Dave Dahl wrestling racing. That's real pigs. The kind you get bacon from. Well, not a swine like Dave Dahl. But I also got an announcement for you guys. Would you like a secret? Would you like something that Dr. Zakirnian has not authorized me to say, but I'm going to say it anyway?
You've got 2 minutes. Let's go.
All right. In 2 minutes, just so you know, Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators will be turning to Rowan University on Saturday, August 30th at the Chamberlain Student Center at Rowan University. The event's going to be called the Clash of the Profs. I didn't name it. Dog didn't name it. Just heads up. But Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators will be returning to Rowan University for a second event this year. And if it goes well, we've seen that as a continual annual event along with WrestleMania. Again, we didn't name that one either.
Nice. Well, that's awesome. Ever expanding. Of course, those shows are not
events.
Those events are not for public distribution. However, the fine people at Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators make these events available via the YouTube channel, so make sure you go subscribe to their YouTube channel. You can also find the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators YouTube channel as a list of the co-conspirators here on the Alliance blog page. And at DKM, I know that there's some things still stokes in the fire for you with IHWE. Is there anything you want to talk about, or we'll save it for another time?
The only thing I'll say for now is that there are negotiations that are starting to fill one of our vacant titles. So it'll be a couple of weeks before I have more news, but we are heading in the right direction.
Hey, talk to Dr. Zakirnian. If you want to fly your talent to New Jersey, maybe they could have the championship defended there.
Maybe.
Nice.
Just can't be a Rowan. Contracts don't allow it.
That's fair.
Can I sign something that says it's okay?
No, unfortunately, the Rowan, unless you want to sell rights over to IHWA to Dr. Zakirnian, IHWE, it can't happen.
Yeah, it's only $15,000, so.
Well, yeah.
And with that, we'll see you at the matches. Thanks for joining the stream. This has been a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com. We genuinely appreciate your support. Would you consider subscribing so you'll never miss a future episode? I'd also like to remind you we do a live stream every Tuesday at 5 p.m. before NWA Power. You can find us on social media at The Alliance Blog. And until next time, we are The